Hey, we are live. We are live. We're live here on a Monday. It is May the 3rd. Most people like to call May Day. Today's show, we're definitely going to talk about the NFL draft grades. We're going to get into some NBA. We're going to get some NBA props, players, and, break down the games tonight. NBA is pushing towards, obviously the 18th to the 21st is going to be the play-in. We'll get into that. LeBron James has some comments. We'll get into a little bit of LeBron James news as well on his status of playing tonight against the Nuggets. But like most all the shows I begin, I either begin talking about something, it's a rant, or we're just gonna get into it. It's in the afternoon here. It's almost about 2 in the afternoon. Probably about 5 somewhere out in the East Coast, and nighttime elsewhere. Those of you that get to watch this sportscast, or those of you that don't care about this, it doesn't matter here. I'm not here for views. I'm not here for your money. I'm just here to do what I love to do, and I love to talk sports. And it's my opinion. I'm not here to, I'm not sticking facts out there. It's just one man's opinion that tries to have an opinion with other people that want to come in, whether my friends see that I'm on, they pop in, want to chime in, or other people that come in and say, "Hey, I'm kind of curious to see what this crazy guy has to say." But anyhow, over the weekend we had the Kentucky Derby, we had the NFL Draft, we had some NBA basketball, we had some, we've had an eventful sports weekend here. Lost a Eric McClure, 42 years old, a NASCAR driver. He's passed away. And of course, those of you that don't know, the in Indy 500 driver Bobby Unser has passed away at the age of 87. So we'd like to give a rest in peace and you know remember and celebrate them. I know I don't talk too much about racing or NASCAR, but we like to celebrate people's lives that have made an impact in each and every day. You know, that's we all look at funerals as that's the end and it's sad times, but it should be a time to also remember our loved ones and those that are no longer here. We just celebrate their life and appreciate you know what they did, what they didn't do, and just to celebrate that life and give that family time to mourn their loved one. You know, process that and to deal with the things that come along with losing somebody. With that being said, we'll get into this NFL. Let's go into the NFL here. We'll go to the NFL draft here. All right. Let's get into some news, of course, in the NFL front. Obviously, the biggest news here that basically superseded the draft. Let's see. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers here for a second, because I mean I think that's a point we need to drive home. Aaron Rodgers came out basically said unhappy with the situation in Green Bay, and he doesn't no longer want to be a Green Bay Packer. Now, we could see that as, oh, is Aaron Rodgers trying to force his hand? Is it something that they're, is it something that was in the cards? Is it just Aaron Rodgers playing, his mind games. Most people like to say, Rodgers is a different breed of quarterbacks, and but yeah, he's come out to say that he doesn't want to return, and I mean, obviously, the Packers they say face, and obviously they try to get comments from Aaron Rodgers, which Aaron Rodgers was at the Kentucky Derby, but you know, he's there to watch the Derby and watch the horses and enjoy the time with his wife and enjoy the races. I'm sure that's why we didn't get no good commentary bits from him, and he didn't want to give more fuel to the fire per se. But nonetheless, here you know, Aaron Rodgers does want out here, and so I'm on CBSSports.com. There's Rodgers landing spots, four possible spots where Aaron Rodgers could land. Here's another report by Jordan Daigi. Report: Aaron Rodgers intrigued by the Raiders. So, what do where as far as what teams could possibly be in the runnings for Aaron Rodgers or a possible trade here, you might say here. Well, you got to look at, some of these teams. Obviously, the Raiders. I mean, obviously, the Raiders would, you know. I mean, and then you have Dave Gettleman on the Rodgers trade, explore everything. Obviously, maybe the Giants. The Giants are one of the four spots, but we'll check out here to see where they think Aaron Rodgers could possibly go. That's just Now, being me here, I mean, that's just. I mean, that'd be really bad for that'd be that would be really. Sorry about that. That'd be really bad for the Green Bay Packers if that was to. Okay, they say obviously John Elway just spent a year giving Drew Lock all kinds of new toys, and he's at times seemed genuinely committed to letting the former second rounder grow into Denver's unquestioned leader here. Retained both coach Vic Fangio and offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur can be taken as another vote of confidence in Lock's upside. Well, but they also, the Denver Broncos, they also brought in Teddy Bridgewater. So, I mean, I could see that. I mean, unless they're going to end up trading Drew Lock to the Green Bay Packers. Could be. Obviously, the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, obviously, having desire for a new quarterback, yet he wasn't entrenched enough to prevent the team from adding Marcus Mariota as a potential replacement and waiting in 2020. So, do the Raiders pull the trigger? I mean, what do they do? Do they trade Carr? Do they trade Derek Carr to Green Bay for Aaron Rodgers? And all right, we have the New England Patriots here. I mean, obviously, the New England Patriots here. They obviously got Cam. They have Cam Newton. They drafted Mac Jones. So I mean, do they, do they trade Cam Newton? Straight up trade Aaron Rodgers for Cam Newton and some picks or whatever? If New England, but we know, I don't know, New England's going to try to do that. And then you also have, we have the 49ers. Obviously, they took Trey Lance at the number 3 pick, but, they still have Jimmy Garoppolo, Gucci Garoppolo. Meaning people want to buy into that. That could be a big chip to basically trade for Aaron Rodgers and basically give the Packers Jimmy Garoppolo, or they can have Jimmy G and Jordan Love fight it out. So it remains to see. I mean, those 4 teams, I mean, yes, those 4 teams could make sense. I mean, but I don't want to really buy into that here. Let's go. We'll go into obviously other draft news here. 49ers call and a weird quote that was coming out that and from Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan that is, from the 49ers basically said we don't know who's going to be alive. So all the players from the 49ers basically called Shanahan to tell them that they are alive. Now, I don't know if these are just subliminal things or just people just want to say things because of the nature that we're living in. And those of you that don't know what's going on, there is a pandemic, whether it was released by just by a biometric weapon or it was just somehow got loose, found its way into the whole world, and now the whole world can't stop this, or it's some sort of genetic thing that's made in a laboratory that basically, we're trying to find vaccinations and cures to stop this. I mean, I don't know. I mean, football and sports and everything, as we know, has been affected by this since the late 2019. I'll say November, respectfully, because that's when COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it now, super virus, super bug, the destroyer, has reared its ugly head. And unfortunately, we have, people that want to get vaccinated versus people that are anti-vaxxers. And then it's always that, but this is not the podcast for me to talk about it. I'm just talking about how Kyle Shanahan basically made a crazy statement saying that who knows if anybody's going to live or survive or whatever. But in the fifth-year option tracker, let's see, Hayden Hurst and Edmonds declined their options. Their fifth-year options were declined. Reports were Vikings eyed trade for Fields before move back. So basically, we were. I guess the Vikings wanted to draft Justin Fields here. Obviously, we're not happy with the production from Kirk Cousins here, but we all ultimately didn't pull that trade off. Obviously, Chicago got Justin Fields. We got Kellen Mound, which I think is a good quarterback, so we can have somebody that can, be there as an efficient backup. Hopefully, we can groom him in and maybe, be the successor to Kirk Cousins. I mean, this is a year. Well, our team, if we don't make it to the playoffs and we don't make get it out the first round and at least somewhat whatever, I believe that there's going to be a coaching change in Minnesota. I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, and I just believe that Mike Zimmer has got us to the playoffs, and he's done a solid job, much as he's done with Cincinnati. But he just can't get for what it is. He just can't get. He couldn't get us over the humps and lumps. And we've had, I've heard everything. Last year we got rid of all our guys that we thought were washed up and couldn't play anymore. But Xavier Rhodes seems to be playing pretty well with the Colts. You have, some of these other guys that now signed with the Bengals. What was his name? Trying to think. And we thought, Emerson Griffin was washed up, and then look what we did. We traded for Nyakwe, and then, then we traded him to the Ravens, and, it was just like, So it remains to see here, but we will. But we'll go into we'll go to the draft grades here. I want to go over the draft grades of all the NFL teams here before we get into the, meat and potatoes of what's going to happen here. We'll get into the sports betting, into the NBA, but we're going to get into this. Okay, we'll start off with, alphabetically, the Arizona Cardinals here. I mean, Arizona Cardinals, for the most part, they had a pretty good draft in my opinion here. I mean, I think obviously they're the first pick here was Zaven Collins here, but they gave the Arizona Cardinals a B, which is I think is pretty fair assessment. They said the best pick for them was Rondell Moore here, loading up as far as offensive weapons and things of that nature. They brought Zaven Collins here to go in with J.J. Watt, who they brought in from the Texans, obviously. And so, yeah, I mean, they said the worst pick was their fourth round corner. Marco Wilson was just okay at Florida. So they're just saying that was probably their worst pick here, but they got a B as far as, and I don't think they did too bad. The let's see, you got the Falcons. And obviously their best pick was Kyle Pitts. So obviously that being said, they say their worst pick was third round guard tackle Jalen Mayfield is a solid player, but they should have drafted it back with speed to complement Mike Davis with that pick. Maybe Kenneth Gainwell would have helped, but nonetheless, give the Falcons a B minus, and I don't think the Falcons did too bad with their draft. Then you have the Baltimore Ravens. They gave them a B minus. They said their best pick was third round guard Ben Cleveland. He's a mauler and a tough guy who will fit into their line perfectly because obviously they traded Orlando Brown Jr. away to the Chiefs before the draft got started here. Obviously, they said the worst pick for them was Rashad Bateman, which I don't agree with that. I think Rashad Bateman is a great pick for the Baltimore Ravens, and I think they had a pretty solid draft too. And I would agree with that B minus. We have the Buffalo Bills. All right, obviously they went Greg Rochine, and they picked Carlos Basham Jr. They think their worst pick was in third round. Spencer Brown, the tall, raw tackle who might need some time to develop. Okay, well, I still think that the Bills had a great draft. I still think they had a pretty good, strong draft here. We have the Carolina Panthers here. They gave them a B plus. They said the best pick was tight end Tommy Tremble. So obviously, this guy, he was a blocker, and he was a pretty solid blocker and pass catching tight end at Notre Dame. So obviously Carolina does need a really good tight end there. They said the worst pick for them was Terrence Marshall. Only because of the injury concerns and stuff of that nature that maybe he won't see the field very much. But I think overall here, them in the first round getting Jace Horn really solidifies and helps their defense out and helps their secondary right now. So I think a B plus is a great draft grade, and I think they did a great job. And they also got Brady Christensen, a tackle to help. They got Sam Darnold down there, and obviously Sam Darnold and whoever is going to be down there at the quarterback positions help protect that line. We have the Chicago Bears. They gave them a B plus. It was their best pick, obviously for them, like you say, was Justin Fields and basically trading up to get him here. They say the worst pick was basically that Tevin Jenkins kid. I totally have to disagree. I don't know who's writing these, but I think Tevin Jenkins is a perfect offensive tackle for them. They like those mean guys, like when they had Kyle Long, which Kyle Long is no longer a Bear. But you got to have for your offensive line and defensive line, you want guys that are tough. You want guys that are maulers. You want guys that are going to just get out there and do their jobs. You don't care how pretty it looks as long as the guys go out there and they do their jobs. It's all that matters. But that B plus, I agree with them. I think they did a good job, but I disagree with their worst pick. The Cincinnati Bengals, they say their best pick was in the fourth round, defensive tackle Tyler Shelvin. They say basically they traded down and passed on one offensive lineman. I like better. And then they took guard tackle Jackson Carman. That was a questionable move. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think they're as far as the Bengals concerned here, they got an offensive guy. They're building the line. They're an improving team. They obviously picked Jamar Chase and not Penny Sewell when many people thought they were going to go. But you bring in Jamar with Joe Burrow already. Those two, they have a connection. And obviously, losing obviously losing AJ Green, they needed to basically get somebody in there that could be a dominant, number one receiver there. So I agree with the B minus for the Cincinnati Bengals grade. We have the Cleveland Browns. They gave them a B plus. You love their third round pick, Anthony Schwartz. And so, I mean, I'd say they definitely did a great job drafting the Browns did. I think they bring in a lot of great players. They got corner. They drafted cornerback Greg Newsome the second. They got Jeremiah Owusu Koromora. I think they think that the Browns are a team looking up. All right, let's see. They gave the Dallas Cowboys a B. They said their best pick of the draft was second round corner Kevin Joseph. It was an immediate need and fits with what Dan Quinn wants in his corners. Cowboys wanted to take one of the top corners in the first round, but yeah, they said the worst pick was the third round cornerback Deshaun Wright. Is a long corner at 6'4" with some talent, but went a round or two too high for whoever's writing this work as far as okay, let's see what the name is. Peter Presco this is the man who wrote this article and giving these grades. It's not my grades. I would have gave the Cowboys a lot worse. I think Cowboys probably got a C in my opinion. I mean, giving them a B is kind of nice. I love the first round pick with Michael Parsons, but the second round guy, I think they could have got Asante Samuel Jr. But look what they got as defensive coordinator now. They got Dan Quinn, and look what happened with Dan Quinn's defense last year. He got fired because they got eaten alive. So hopefully Dallas will figure it out. They drafted Jabrili Cox, and they have Michael Parsons. They have Jalen Smith, and they have Leighton Vander Esch. So I mean, they got a lot of linebackers, but they just I think they should have got a better cornerback. Obviously they want to nitpick the third round pick when they should have been nitpicking the second round pick. I mean, obviously that's not the case. The Denver Broncos here, they gave them an A, and obviously they like the first round pick here, Patrick Surtain. They said the worst pick there was Caden Stearns. I don't know. I think Caden Stearns could be a solid pick for them. I mean, they obviously got Justin Simmons, back there. But I thought overall, I mean, I don't know. You have to give the Broncos an A. I'd say they they did pretty well. If I was giving maybe a low A to a high B. Detroit Lions here. I think Detroit Lions did very well for the draft that they had, and they obviously they drafted some pretty good players for what they had. Obviously, the first round pick they went and got Penny Sewell, which basically is going to help them shore that lineup, and that to me is the most important thing here. If you want a future franchise quarterback, you must build your line first. You must reassure the line. So that way it helps out, blocking wise. It helps out everybody. It helps your quarterback, helps your running back, and it allows gives you time, especially in the passing game, to get to your receivers, your tight ends. Obviously your tight ends and your running backs are your safety blankets. But overall, I agree with the B plus here for the Detroit Lions here. I think they drafted very well. We got Green Bay Packers here. They gave them a B, which yeah, I mean I kind of would have to agree. I mean, so I'd say low B, maybe a C here for the Packers. I don't think they really went out and I don't think they really went out and did anything to make Aaron Rodgers feel comfortable coming back and signing with the team first and foremost. But building around this team that they have. I mean, I mean Eric Stokes. I mean, that's a good, and I think that's a good pick to pair him with Jair Alexander. Start building on that secondary to solidify that. Because they have a pretty strong defensive line and linebackers. But and then you have the Houston Texans here. They gave them a D. Obviously, they drafted in third round Davis Smith. Um, Obviously, you know, I don't know. I mean, I would probably say I could probably agree that the Texans probably didn't draft very well, or I'd say probably like a C minus C plus for them. D could probably be a good grade for them. I would honestly say that the Houston Texans and Dallas Cowboys both kind of didn't have a very good draft. The Indianapolis Colts here. I mean, I think they did all right. I think it was a they got some players that they definitely are going to need to improve moving forward, going into win that division. Obviously, to compete with the likes of the Tennessee Titans and Houston Texans and the Jaguars are obviously teams trying to rebuild their franchises, and obviously the Colts and the Titans are probably the upper echelons right now as far as having pieces to really put together playoff runs and to win a win now mentality here. And speaking of those Jacksonville Jaguars, those Broward County Jaguars, they got a B, and I would say they did well in the draft. I think they did well in the draft, trying to get getting some talent, getting some people, and trying to see what it's all going to come to. I believe they have a plan down there. I don't believe that they just brought Urban Meyer to have the Urban Meyer experience. Obviously, I've also heard Tim Tebow is also you know also rumored. I'm going to say rumors to be trying to help out this team as well. But I don't know, I think the Jaguars are a team looking up here. I mean, are they going to be a team that's just going to wow people out the box? Are they going to just blow people out and all of a sudden, they're going to be the New England Patriots of the NFC, or the new version of the Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens, or whoever, whoever you want to slight and put in there. But I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, for the most part, did a good job at the draft, and we'll just see how it comes to fruition during training camps. Obviously, through preseason this year, we didn't have preseason last year, and so we obviously gonna only have believe we're only gonna have 3 preseason games. There's only gonna be 3 preseason games, and there's actually one extra regular season game now. So, we'll see. We have the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they did. I think they did all right. They basically they picked some players that basically they're trying to build that line again. I mean, obviously, from what happened in the Super Bowl, there were some holes in the offensive line that basically caused them to not repeat as Super Bowl champs. So they're addressing that problem, obviously, through the draft and via Orlando Brown Jr. And so they added Nick Bolton, a linebacker that can help them out in the defense, and some other pieces here and there. So I think for the most part, the Chiefs did a pretty good job. I got to give them a B or a C as well. The Las Vegas Raiders here. I mean, they're giving them a D here. I mean, I mean, the Raiders, they're always drafting somewhat different than every other team in the NFL. Ever since Al Davis, and now they have John Gruden and Mike Mayock. Mike Mayock was one of these big draft guru guys like Mel Kiper. Supposed to come in and come in here and bring these players in here and shape them out, and hopefully, turn, and have John Gruden, churn these guys into men, and hope to bring them back to the commitment to excellence, which was their main moniker under Al Davis. Well, they went and drafted 3 safeties, and they got Alex Leatherwood here, which I thought is tremendous. But I would also say that the Raiders probably didn't draft very well. I would say they definitely deserve like maybe a C plus. I mean, maybe you could give them a D as well. So we have the Los Angeles Rams. They graded them a B minus. And I just, for me, the Rams are just trying to do what they can, bring in guys for obviously Matthew Stafford. That's why they got Tutu Atwell. I'm not making that name up. The man is named Tutu. So they also bought it and a 4th-round pick, Bobby Brown the third, defensive tackle from Texas A&M. To play next to Aaron Donald, or those of you that are rock. Aaron Donald's facing some charges himself, like Deshaun Watson. But I think, overall, I think the Rams did okay. Did okay in the draft. I'd say, B minus, C plus. All right, the Los Angeles Chargers. I think, them, getting that tackle with Sean Slater. I think that was big and key. And then they got Asante Samuel Jr. Then they got a tight end. They brought in Jared Cook, but they brought in another tight end. They drafted him by the name of Trey McKitty. Yeah, get your hands out of the kitty. So I think that, basically the Chargers did a good job, and I'll agree with the B minus grade. I think they drafted pretty well, to say the least, and it'll be interesting to see, Ashanti Samuel Jr., with the healthy, Derwin James. Derwin James didn't play last year. He was hurt for the whole season, so now we're going to see him healthy back. And so, with this, with Asante Samuel Jr., it's going to be, it's going to be fun to watch the Los Angeles Chargers play, down there in LA if you're a Chargers fan. The Miami Dolphins, obviously, they gave them a grade A, which, I mean, the Miami Dolphins, in my opinion, they really hit it on the head. They really drafted pretty well. They went and got Jalen Waddle. Obviously, he's a really kind of, give them that Tyreek type guy here. Bringing in a guy that Tua knows personally. Bringing a guy Tua is familiar with to run around. They got Javon Holland here. I thought that was a good pick, even though this guy here says that was the worst pick. And then they also got Liam Eichenberg. I think, they did some things that's going to help Miami really start to build upon that team, what they did last year. And I believe that that's going to resonate towards on the field as long as, injuries. Like, that's the whole thing with all these teams, as long as, they get these players and everybody stays healthy and as healthy as possible and, maintain and weather the thing. I think a lot of these teams are going to play really well. I think it's not just going to be, oh, we got a lot of crappy teams in the league anymore. It's going to be more of a, we're going to see, some good football finally. All right, we got the Minnesota Vikings. They gave us an A draft grade. I wouldn't say we have an A draft grade, but maybe a low A, definitely a high B. I think we definitely had a good draft. I think we traded down and we were still able to get an offensive tackle, and the Christian Darrisaw. I think he's just a guy that's definitely going to really have an impact as far as on the offensive line in our game and what we want to try to do with the screens, because we have Kubiak's son. As offensive coordinator. Yeah, I mean they don't agree with the running back guy from Iowa State, but I don't. I mean necessarily he might. I mean we could use him in the special teams because we have been kind of lacking in that in the last few years here. So and then you have the New England Patriots. They gave them a B, and I thought hey, getting Mac Jones in the first round and basically not having to trade up for him, and then getting in Christian Barmore and I think the Patriots. They did a pretty good job drafting this year, and so hopefully this year will be a. I mean, last year a lot of people were like, "Well, why did the Patriots do so bad?" Well, they had 20 guys. They had the most guys opt out of any NFL team last year. They opted out because of COVID. I mean, seen it in all types of sports, whether it was basketball, football, whatever it was. A lot of some of these college guys they got drafted in the draft. They opted out. They didn't play last year because of COVID. I mean, it gives your body nice wear and tear, but how's it gonna how's it gonna emulate to you had a year off of the sports. All right, then we have the New Orleans Saints here. I mean, they basically said that they gave him a C, which I mean isn't too bad. I mean, bad draft grade for the Saints, and I don't think they did a very bad job. I think they picked some players that they needed. Obviously, from free agency losses, and they ended book in the fourth. So I think that's a good pick, and that's a good. Some people say, well, they have Taysom Hill and James Winston. Why would they draft another quarterback? Well, you can never have too many quarterbacks. If some guy gets hurt, like we say, we're in the COVID era, where everybody's you don't know. Somebody might get COVID, or they say he has COVID. They had a lot of false positive tests. Ding, 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 ding. Is that right? Does that read some red flags for people that are sitting here taking these supposed COVID tests when these people weren't having COVID issues? And obviously, some guys were. And I mean, it's not, and we can't get away from COVID no matter what you want to talk about because it's always a thing. It's always a thing. Suppose. We have the New York Giants. They gave them a draft grade of B plus, and I thought the Giants did very well here. I mean, obviously most people were like, "Hey, well, why did they move down and get Kadarius Toney?" That wasn't, they could have got somebody else. They could have, but I like the picks that they picked. I think they picked some players that could definitely be on the field next year that can make some positive impacts. That's obviously, speaking if they're staying healthy here. But I think the Giants did very well in the draft here, and I agree with the B plus grade for them. The Jets here, they gave them a B. I would say that the Jets did a pretty good job drafting, being at the first year of Saleh's. You know, you got Zach Wilson. He traded with us. They went up and got a tackle here. It cost them 2/3. And that was just too steep of a price to give up two third round picks for a guy. But I mean, I think that's okay. And then they also got Elijah Moore as well. So I think moving forward here, the Jets are going to be a different team, and really, really going to show on the field next season or this coming season. Philadelphia Eagles. They gave them a C plus. I mean, I think going out and getting Devontae Smith, I think that was prevalent because the last past two drafts they missed out on quality receivers, i.e. Justin Jefferson. For an example. But I think they didn't do too terrible. Didn't do too terrible, but they didn't really, you know. But the Philadelphia Eagles are in rebuild mode, obviously with Jalen Hurts. You got a new coach, got a new regime in there. So we'll definitely see how that turns out. But C is not a bad grade. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, which they gave them a C. as well. They think that, I don't like taking running backs in the first round. So they basically don't agree with the Najee Harris pick there, but they needed one because they didn't have a good back right there. James Conner in free agency ended up going to the Arizona Cardinals. So again, I mean, I agree with the C, but I have to disagree with this take. I mean, obviously, they think running backs are dime a dozen. You can get them anywhere else in the draft, but if you see the guy you want, why not draft him? We have the San Francisco, or I like to call them the Santa Clara 49ers, because they don't play in San Francisco no more. They actually play in Santa Clara, which is home of Silicon Valley, which all, Google, Facebook, all these pump chunks. You know, they say they say they liked the second round pick, Aaron Banks. They didn't like it's not like they don't like, this guy didn't like Trey Lance at that pick. They just think the Niners gave up. Basically, the Niners traded away. So basically, the next 2 years, the Niners will not have a first round pick. So I mean, maybe that is, so I mean, this guy's saying they better, Trey Lance better be the guy, better be special. Well, they got Jimmy Garoppolo, or hey, who knows? Maybe they're secretly, silently going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo away and get Aaron Rodgers, then sit Trey Lance for a year or so, whenever, and have Rodgers come in and. But again, who are the receivers down there in Santa Clara right now that can help out, you know, Aaron Rodgers. You got Brandon Ayuk. You know, you got Deebo Samuels. Those guys are, all well and doubt great players, but those guys were also not healthy for a full season, and so that hurt them very much. And same thing with George Kittle, but George Kittle is an animal. He's probably, next to Travis Kelce, one of the best young tight ends in the game right now. But I agree that the Niners definitely had probably a C grade in the draft. Obviously, they gave Seattle a D because they didn't really have too many picks, but I think the picks that Seattle made were pretty good. So I would give Seattle a C at least. You have Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They gave them a C, and they said that, well, they didn't really draft very well. I would have to beg to differ. I think they drafted pretty well for the talent and the players that were available at the time. I think that they drafted pretty good. The Tennessee Titans got a C plus here. I don't think Caleb Farley's, and so I mean, I think Tennessee did all right. I mean, I don't think they did too bad. I think they picked up some pretty good players. That'll be all right. And then we had the Washington football team to round it all out here. They gave them a B plus. I think they did all right. I think the football team didn't do bad. They obviously got some to fill some holes of obviously free agency and people that have left, obviously. So for the most part, I think these were a fair assessment grades by this guy, but I don't know. I agree to disagree on some of the players that he said were bad players or just, but yeah. All right, so let's move on we'll segue our way from the NFL, basically the NFL draft, to the NBA right now, because the NBA is focusing, and most of these, it's getting close to the playoff run. We have some games on tonight, obviously on ESPN. The first game, obviously, is Golden State Warriors and the New Orleans Pelicans. There's going to be the Marvel characters are going to be in the arena tonight. I guess all around or some sorts of. So, and the Warriors are. I think they're in the ninth spot right now. So they're definitely in that playing game. So they're playing some pretty good basketball to try to go out. But yeah, let's talk about some teams that are slipping, like the Celtics here. The Celtics lost last night to the Blazers and are on a skid and basically in the 7th spot now here. The Celtics are finding their way into the playing game right now. And basically late in that game, in a late game collision, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both got hurt. So that's not good. Then you got in the West, you got the champions, or should I say the hobbling champions, the Los Angeles Lakers here, and they have lost. They've lost some pretty bad games. They lost to the Kings, and they had LeBron James and they had Anthony Davis. They got beat by the likes of the Tyrese Halliburton. And also tonight, LeBron James will not be playing tonight. He aggravated ankle sprain again, so he's basically going to sit out. LeBron James is basically criticizing the play-in as the Lakers sink to the 7th spot now. Dennis Schroeder protocol now. All of a sudden, he must have got the vaccination shots. Now he's going to be out for 10 to 14 days. Kuzma's banged up, but he thinks that Marc Gasol could help them. So, and then Luka Doncic is basically he's getting teed up all over the place, and he's one more technical away from a game suspension. That's something to monitor as the Mavericks continue to try to cling on to the playoff hopes as well here. All right, so basically the Magic's coach, he's going to return from COVID, and Evan Fournier hasn't been himself after COVID-19, and what's been a golden opportunity in Boston. He's basically saying it's kind of like you have concussion type symptoms having to have this supposed COVID after effects. Kind of you feel kind of woozy, you just kind of in the clouds type. You're just not all there, and so some of these guys are feeling those after effects. I know Jason Tatum and a lot of these people, but and same with some of these people are getting these vaccination shots, and they're having these reactionary, and unfortunately some have passed on. I know many of you guys don't subscribe to that, but some people have died from these vaccinations. And the notable sports people, Hank Aaron. A lot of people aren't going to say that, but you can go back and see before they died, they got their arms lined up and shot, right? And then recently, a 15-year-old boy died of a heart attack after recently getting the vaccination. Not saying it's happened to everybody, but some people are having bad reactions. And why is that? Is it the medicine? Is it the human being? Is it just because somebody had pre-existing conditions when basically this 15-year-old kid never had any pre-existing conditions in his life? So maybe ask yourself the question, are the vaccines really helping, or are the vaccines really hurting? And you can make your own decisions up for yourself. I'm not here to blame you, but I'm just saying, you can't be mad if you're being fooled and you're being tricked and you're believing lies. Same thing as I watched today about a lot of people buy into religion and don't realize that they're you're not praying to God, you're praying to devils, false God, basically. And it goes across the board, whether you quote unquote call yourself a Christian, a Catholic, Muslim, an atheist, whatever. You're not praying to God, and God is not with it. And that's what I'm saying. All this talk of this or that. I don't know. It's up to you what you want to believe and what your faith is, and how you. At the end of the day, that's your cup of tea. But as I always do, digress from topics at hand, we'll get into this. We'll get into these NBA games tonight. Obviously, we'll start with the early games. We got the Detroit Pistons to meet the Magic in a battle of the NBA draft position here. Obviously, Detroit is 19-45. The Orlando Magic is 20-44. Obviously, both these teams are trying to segue themselves to the top of the ping pong balls to see if they can get the number one, a top pick in the draft again, as these teams are obviously rebuilding again, or rebuilding for the past couple of years. If you're looking at Detroit and Orlando, both these teams have been rebuilding for the last, I don't know. It seems like they've been rebuilding for the past, seems like 5 to 10 years. But the Orlando Magic and the Pistons, these two teams are really not very good basketball, in my opinion. I mean, it's not a knock on the talent on the team. It's just the products they try to put out on the court have not just equated to wins or getting their team to a playoffs or anything such for that matter here. Okay, so obviously the money line is on the Orlando Magic tonight, plus 110. They're playing in Detroit. They're playing in Detroit, Michigan at Little Caesars Arena. The Pistons are -2 tonight. The over-under for this game is 211. So, I mean, you can take that with a grain of salt. And like I said, we'll get into some DraftKings after we get through this. After we go through the rundown here. All right, the next game we have the Indiana Pacers and the Wizards meeting a battle for the play-in position. Obviously, both teams are trying to get into this 10th spot here. They're fighting for the 10th spot. Obviously, the Pacers hold the 9th spot right now and are a game and a half ahead of the 10th seeded 10th place Wizards with 9 games remaining. And the Wizards have 8 games left here. So, I mean, obviously both teams are playing tough basketball. I mean, both teams have had some injuries to deal with throughout the season. They've had to fight the injury bug, and obviously both teams are trying to fight for potential the play-in playoffs to see if they can get into the actual playoffs. So it should be a good game tonight here. They're playing in Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. tonight. The money line is on the Indiana Pacers, plus 155. The spread here is -4 for the Wizards. The over-under is 5.5. So they're thinking this game is going to be score. High scoring game. Probably the highest on the board today, as far as both teams going back and forth. Next to probably like the Warriors and the Pelicans. So yeah, I mean it should be a good game. Obviously, Westbrook, Beal, it's a bonus, and I'll break it more down as far as once we get to the. I'm gonna do DraftKings tonight here to get into the games here and try to see if I can win. And then we'll break down obviously we'll also break down some props too as well for that. We got, and it is 2:40 Pacific Standard Time. So let's move on to the next game here. We got the Golden State Warriors taking on the New Orleans Pelicans here. And a crucial back-to-back. The Golden State Warriors have a cushion. The New Orleans Pelicans don't. The Warriors are 32-32. Are in position to qualify for the play-in tournament. The Pelicans are 3 games behind here. So basically, this is an important game here tonight here for the Warriors and the Pelicans here. Obviously the Warriors are on the high, basically the higher, but these teams they play each other. They played each other tonight, and they obviously will see each other again May 14th in San Francisco, or the home of the Warriors, with the winner of two or more of these games claiming the tiebreaker edge. So both these teams need this win to hold edge on the tiebreaker here. So should be a fast-paced game, up and down, should be competitive, to say the least. Obviously, the Warriors are plus 120 on the money line tonight. New Orleans is 2.5, 2.5, and the over/under is 236.5. So definitely going to be a high-scoring game along with the Indiana Pacers and the Wizards, but we'll remain to see. We have the Portland Trailblazers. They're on a hot streak here, looking to extend the winning streak here, playing very well as of recently and as of late, basically getting them. The Blazers were slowly but surely sinking into the 7th spot and now have boosted up themselves to the 5th seed. And they're trying to avoid the play-in postseason tournament more than anything here as far as the Trailblazers here. And you got the Hawks. They're playing very well as well. They're 35-30. Both teams are over 500. Obviously Blazers have two less losses than the Hawks and one better win. So this is going to be like I said, this is going to be a good game as well. Both teams in the playoffs here. The money line is on the Portland Trailblazers, plus 120. Obviously, 2.5 is on Atlanta for the point spread. The over/under is 235.5. All right, we got the 76ers looking to beat the Bulls again here. The seventh straight time when they visit the Bulls on Monday. Well, Chicago's playing at home here. We're playing at home. I mean, we're 26-38 here. We're obviously, I mean, unless we win out here, we win out, and some of these other teams in the 9 to 10 spots lose, then we have a chance. But nonetheless, Philadelphia is looking pretty good, pretty strong, healthy here. And so they Ben Simmons hits a game winner. Finally Ben Simmons comes to life. Finally Ben Simmons comes to life. But I like to see the Sixers here. They probably will beat the Bulls tonight, but I don't think Benny and the Bulls and Vucevic, and hopefully we can get Zach LaVine back, but he's been hurt. We're plus 205 on the money line. The Bulls are plus 6, so bet tonight Bulls won't lose by 6. I don't know. I can see them getting blown out in this game here. And the over/under is 212. And I'm a Bulls fan. I love the Bulls. I've been a Bulls fan since Michael Jordan was drafted there. And even when Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and all them left, and then they brought in the new guys, and they had Derrick Rose. He rejuvenated it, and now I don't know what the hell the Bulls are doing, to be completely honest. We'll probably lose Laurel Markkanen in the offseason. I mean, we picked up Vucevic. I mean, pairing Vucevic and Zach LaVine is good, but we need more than just those two guys. And we need other guys that, we're supposed to step up and play well and be good, aren't. So it'll remain to see tonight here in Chicago if we can pull it off at the United Center and pull off an upset here. Then we have the New York Knicks taking on the Memphis Grizzlies here. So the Knicks are on a road trip right now here, taking on a feisty and a grime and grit team of the Grizzlies here. Obviously the Knicks are the better team with a 36-28 record, and the Grizzlies a 32-31 record. So this should be a good game as well. This game will be in the FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. The Knicks are plus 145 on the money line. Memphis is minus 3.5. The over/under is 221. Like I said, it should be This is the run for the playoff push. So whichever game does matter and every game does count. So we'll definitely see here how well the Grizzlies respond at home tonight here against the Knicks, and how well the Knicks respond on the road here, beginning their road trip, so they don't fall and end up having to be in the playing game themselves. We have the Denver Nuggets taking on the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. The reeling Lakers host hot Nuggets with LeBron James hurting again here, and the Nuggets are 43-21. The Los Angeles Lakers are 36-28 here. They pretty much have the same record as the Portland Trailblazers at this time here. And yes, they've had LeBron James come. He came back. Anthony Davis is back now. But now you got Dennis Schroeder out for 14 days. You got Kuzma's banged up, and so the Lakers haven't really been healthy. And the Nuggets, well, they're gonna be without Jamal Murray for pretty much the rest of the season. And then with their team, they seem to be kind of picking it up, getting it rolling. So the Lakers lost to the Raptors, which they trailed by as many as 21 points here, and they had LeBron in. Now, all you people that want to, the conversation has always been, well, is who's better, who's the greatest of all time? Has Mike got surpassed by LeBron James? My thing is, I don't think it'll ever happen. I mean, in my opinion, Michael Jordan went into 6 championships and won 6. LeBron James has gone in some championships in the finals and lost. And, say maybe you may be a LeBron James fan. I don't hate LeBron James, but I don't think LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. He's the greatest player right now. Yes, he's the greatest player of this generation. But, as far as all times, I don't know, man. People seem to forget about Wilt Chamberlain, and they seem to overlook Bill Russell, who's won 11 championships. Mind you, 11 championships as a player, as a coach, as an owner. But he gets overlooked. Oh, well, they didn't play in a time where people were athletic. They just played a bunch of slow white guys. Well, the same can be said, LeBron James and them. They play in an era where they allow these players to get, they get these calls. There's no longer hand checking. There's no longer defense. The game's changing to where they want the game to be high pace, fast pace, more scoring. And then nowadays you got load management now. So these players aren't playing like the players did back in the days, where they played through injuries, they played through this, they played through that. Now it's basically we're load managing players in the NBA, but yet we could still put them as number 1 of all times, even though, But that's just a debate, that's how you feel, Some people like LeBron, some people don't. And I'm not a LeBron hater. I'm just saying, if we're going to have the conversation of greatest of all time, you're going to have people that have won more than one championship, way more than LeBron James. But I see tonight here, I think the Nuggets here will probably come in here and probably take care of the Lakers, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close game and Lakers try to, I don't know, win one for LeBron. I don't know. And last but not least, we have the San Antonio Spurs. They are 31-32, taking on the 46-18 Utah Jazz, the Donovan Mitchell-less Jazz. But they got a 2-game set here, opening up tonight, playing against the Spurs here. So Pop and them, And so, hey, I think the Spurs, they can play, Pop's going to get his guys up, but I think the, Jazz are just too much for the Spurs right now. Too much. Too much. Go to go look at some props right now here. We're gonna look at some prop bets here and just look at what we have here and the site that I'm, you know, we'll look at these prop bets here. We'll look at the money line, obviously. Oh shit, Orlando's on this one. Orlando is plus 105 here. Pacers are plus 160. The Warriors are plus 120. The Trailblazers are plus 120. Bulls are plus 195. Knicks are 145. San Antonio's plus 260. Lakers are plus 165 here. Let's look at the NBA season MVP here. Obviously, Jokic is minus 700 because he's obviously the favorite right now. And then you have Joel Embiid at plus 450. James Harden is plus 4,000. We got Giannis Antetokounmpo plus 2,000. We got Dame Lillard. Dame times plus 4,000. You got LeBron plus 3,300. You got Luka Doncic plus 3,300. You got Donovan Mitchell plus 20,000. You got Kawhi Leonard's plus 12,500. You got Steph Curry's plus 1,800. But I mean, if you're looking at who deserves the MVP at this point here, without their team, I mean, you can argue right now, Jokic is the most important player in MVP because he's holding his team down. Because without him, the Denver Nuggets would probably be, man, they might even be playing game here. They might even be the team. I mean, that's the same argument that's basically being stated for Steph Curry. Now, Steph Curry gets the Warriors into the playoffs here. He's been the most intriguing, important part in Clog, and that's what MVP is. We seem to forget MVP is he on MVP on the best team or is it on the team? And that's the argument. Is it overall the body of work throughout the season, or is it just most important player that if this person isn't here, this team ain't gonna be where they're at? And if that's the case, I mean, the argument is made for Steph Curry as MVP. But yeah, let's see about that. And then the NBA championship odds here. Let's look at that here. Like I said, it's almost, we got plenty of time to look at these things before the games start rolling on, games start going on. And like I said, I'm just here to tell you the numbers and kind of give you a little bit of my personal insight of what I watch the games and kind of how I feel like. All right, to win the NBA championship, Lakers are plus 400, but I don't know. Kind of slipping at this moment. You got the Clippers plus 500. You got the Bucks plus 900. You got the Warriors plus 15,000. You got the Nets plus 200. You got the 76ers plus 850. You got the Jazz plus 700. And this is the win the championship here. I mean, this isn't to make it to the championship. This is to actually win it. I mean, if you're trying to bet some teams that, obviously, Lakers, Clippers, Bucks, and, Nets going to be there, the Nuggets. Nuggets, I mean, plus 2, would I pull the trigger on the Nuggets? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they made it pretty far last year, but who knows? They might, you can't always look at what team did last year and expect it to resonate in the playoffs because you don't know who they're going to be facing and the injuries and they had Jamal Murray last year, so now the Nuggets won't have Jamal Murray throughout the playoffs. So we're definitely going to see can Austin Rivers, who's there, can Mont Morris, can those three guys, step up. Along with you got Michael Porter Jr., they got Aaron Gordon, they got they got players there. And you got the Joker. But it remains to see. We got the Utah Jazz, who Mitchell's banged up, but will he be able to come back in the playoffs and then be able to have a playoff series and that be healthy enough to come and push them on? The 76ers, finally. But yeah, that's just that's just that there. All right, let's go to prop builder here. We'll go to the prop building here. And we'll just look. I just like to look at. All right, we'll look at this here. I like to look at points here. Points are definitely always something we're going to look at here. So let's look at the points here tonight. Here, obviously, Alex Len here for the Wizards here. If he can score 14 plus points for you tonight, that's plus 319. If he scores 16 tonight, he gets you plus 8. He gets you plus 484. You got Bradley Beal, obviously. The plus money is when he scores 34 plus here, or if he scores 40. And then we have obviously Karis LeVert here. Obviously, the plus money, big money here would be if he scores 31 or plus or 33 plus. Then you have Bertans. Bertans can score 19 for you. And if he can score 19 tonight, and you bet on that, that's plus 319. You got Sabonis here. I mean, the big money here is if he scores 31 points tonight. Then we have Sumner. If he scores you 17 plus, that gets you 3. Gets you 3. That's plus 319. He scores 19. That's plus 487 here. Then we have Raul Neto here. If he can score you 16, that's plus 326. If he scores 18 tonight here, so if he scores 18, that's plus 497. That's almost plus 500 right there. And if he scores 20, that's plus 700. And then you got Rui Hachimura. If he scores 20, that gets you 275. Scores 22, he gets plus 396. Obviously, with Russell Westbrook here, he has to score like 35 points to get you some money. So that's just, let's look at the Orlando here. We'll look at Orlando as far as points here. You got Cole Anthony here. If he can score 23 points, that gets you plus 355. Dwayne Bacon, if he can score you plus 20 or plus 22, that gets you some pretty good numbers. Gary Harris, if he can get plus 17, or even if he gets 19 points, that gets you some good money. Isaiah Stewart, if he can get, if he goes off for 21, he gets you plus 466. And then my man Josh Jackson here, if he can get you plus 26 or plus 28, that's. And then Killian Hayes here, if Killian Hayes can get you 16 plus 16 points, that's plus 299. If he can get 18 tonight, that's plus 581 here. And Sadiq Bey here, a lot of people think he's going to be a good play tonight here. But the only way you make money on him is if obviously gets he is 21, 23 or 25 here, and then you have Wendell Carter here. If he can get plus 17 or 19, that gets you some good money there. So then we have the Pelicans and the Warriors here. All right, we have got Brandon Ingram here, the plus money here. If he gets 30 plus, is where the plus money is for him. Draymond, if Draymond can get 15 plus points here, that's plus 363. If Bledsoe can get 20 points here tonight, that's plus 405. And Bazemore, if he can get 19. or if he gets 21 here. And Looney here, if Looney gets you plus 14, that's plus 466. And if he gets 16, that's plus 702. But that's basically just being unreasonable here. And you got Lonzo Ball. If he can get, if Lonzo can get plus 20 here tonight, he's going to be cashing some people some money. Obviously, Steph Curry, if Curry can hit 45 tonight here, that's going to win you some money here. And same thing with Zion. And Zion basically, he's got to hit 30s in order to cash your money out here as far as points go here. Let's go Portland. In the Portland the Hawks here. Bogdanovich here. If he can get you 26 here, that's going to cash some good points here. And if McCollum can have another 30 plus game here, that'll cash out at plus 346. Clint Capella here. If Clint Capella over here has 22 or 24 points, that's plus 359. Obviously, Dane has to get about 30 plus to get you some winning points. Collins here, if he can get plus 25, that's you win there. Nurkic here, if he gets plus 20, he'll win you some money. And hey, man, Robert Covington gets you plus 15, plus 17. You can get you can win some good money there. And obviously, Trick or Trey. All right, Trick or Trey on that one here. Let's go. All right, we're gonna go points here between Philadelphia and Chicago here. So Ben Simmons can get at least 18 or 20 points. That's a win for you. If Danny Green can get you 16 points, that's a win for you. Seth Curry gets you 20 points, that's a win for you here tonight. Here. Like I said, Tobias Harris can get you 25, that's a win for you here. Not very. No one really on nobody in Chicago, so obviously Levine's not. And so we got New York and Memphis here. Let's go look at this players props. I'm sorry I'm not showing you guys this or anything in that nature because I don't have that I don't got a cool thing behind me to be like, all right, let me pull this up. I mean, that's why this is kind of a work in progress podcast, so where people can come in, chime in, and just tell me this and that and things. Of course, I got to get better with, and make it on the screen so everybody can see the things that I'm looking at and the numbers. But I like to tell people, don't trust me. Go out there and look for yourself. Do the research on your own. I feel like people that don't do the research on their own are just following people that you're trying to believe that are telling you the truth. And I'm sorry to tell you this, a lot of people will not tell you the truth. A lot of people that love you, they say they care about you, they'll lie to your face. They'll stab you in the back, take advantage of you. All right. So, Derrick Rose gets 25 plus points tonight. That's plus 438. If Dylan Brooks can get you 25 plus points, that's plus 341. If Alfred Payton here can get you 18, that's plus 300 on the. And obviously, John Morant's got to get about 30 to get you some real good workage in here. Yeah, 25 plus for Valanciunas. Obviously, Julius Randle's got to go off to have a game. If Kyle Anderson has 19, get you plus 363. And if RJ Barrett gets 28 plus points here, he will get you plus 532. And if Reggie Bullock has a game, 21 plus points, that's plus 450 here. Yeah, I mean, but these numbers, I mean, they're trying. I mean, they try to get you. They try to get you. All right, we got San Antonio now. Let's look at San Antonio. So obviously, Bogdanovich, if he has 30 plus points tonight, that's gonna. Same thing with the DeMar DeRozan. If DeJounte Murray has 25 plus tonight, you get plus 484. If George Nang gets 20 plus points tonight, that's plus 568 here. And if Jakob Poeltl here, if he plays here and gets 19, that's plus 4. And same thing if Joe Ingles can get you plus 23, that's gonna make you win some money here tonight. Jordan Clarkson, if he can muster up 29 or 30 points, that's gonna win you some money here. And same with this Keldon Johnson here. If he can get you 20 points tonight, he'll get you some. And if feeling really good here, you stick with the Royce O'Neals of the world here, plus 14. If you get if he gets plus 16, it's plus 709. If he gets plus 18 here, plus 18. Look at that. If he gets 20 points, that's 1,000. Then you have Rudy Gobert here. As long as Rudy Gobert gets you like 25 here, if he gets you 29 any more than that, then that's so. And last but not least, we got Denver and the Lakers game here. Let's see what we have as far as points going on here. Got Aaron Gordon. If he gets you 20 points, that's plus 4. And then Andre Drummond, obviously, if he gets you 23 plus points or so, that's going to give you some money. Anthony Davis, if he gets you plus 30, that'll give you some money. And plus 16 or 18 for Frank Capazzo. Caldwell Pope, if he can get 19 or 20, that's plus. And same thing with if Kyle Kuzma can get 22 tonight, that's if he's playing. And then obviously Michael Porter Jr. is going to score 31 to get. And obviously Jokic has got to score 36. Now, man, PJ Dozier here, if he scores 20, if he scores 21 tonight, or at least 19, he gets you a fairly good money. Even if you put this bet on him getting 15, that's still a solid bet there. Still a solid bet here. So, and that's like I said, that's just prop bets for the. All right. All right, Housley here. Okay, so see if he gets more than 8 strikeouts, he's plus 1,000 here. But you just got to look at these guys. I mean, you just got to look at the matchup and the pitcher wise here. Strikeout props are they're fairly good props. People, will fairly take tonight here. We got Danny Dunning versus Kent Maeda here. Obviously, if Kent Maeda gets you nine strikeouts tonight, that's plus 426. If he get you 10, that's plus 869 on the. And then for Dunning, if Dunning can get you plus 9, that's 1,000 already. Yeah. And you have the New York Mets here. All right, so you got Wainwright and you got Nisheshe. So basically, Wainwright has to get you at least 9 to really cash some good money here. I mean, even taking 8 or 7 is still, still profit here. Then we got Cleveland versus Kansas City here. Like I said here, oh man. Ooh, so the other guy, they don't even have a strikeout product for him. So basically, if he can get you 8 strikeouts tonight here, if Cabo can get you 8 or 9, you're winning some money here tonight. Then we got Tampa Bay. We got Tampa Bay Rays here. We got the Rays versus what's supposed to be a Tawny here, but now that's scratched here. This man here, to make some money tonight, you got to bet that he's going to get 11 or 12 strikeouts tonight. Here. That's the only way you're making money on Tyler Glasnow here, as far as the strikeout prop bet. You got Toronto, and you got the A's here, playing in Oakland here. We got Frankie Montez, and we got Steve Matz here. I got Steve Matz here on the mound here. See, if Steve Matz can get me 8+, I mean, that works for me. If he can get me 8 strikeouts, that works for me. I mean, you win some money. Same thing with having 8 or even 9. But you guys got to look at how many strikes how many strikeouts they tend to have at any given time here. Some guys are consistent, some guys aren't consistent. It's a matter of where you put it here. If Baltimore's guy can get you, wow, take that plus. If you take that +7 here, that's a win. Plus 265 here. I mean, even in Graveman here for Seattle here, if Graveman can get you. See, if Graveman gets you 7 strikeouts tonight, that wins you some money. You don't have to bet 9 or 10+ here. I mean, this depends on how crazy or what you think the teams are. The teams strike out a lot, and it's going to be rain out. Obviously, I think the all right, so we got Anderson here. So basically, yeah, this Anderson guy gets you about 7 or 8 strikeouts. He's going to win you some good money here. So, and that's been good. That's been a good thing here. Oh, Goji man. Glad that you stopped in, Goji. Goji's another good friend of mine. I was just reading down some props. I'm sorry, Goji, I missed that. I saw you were in the chat here, but yeah, man, I'm just trying to read through some props and stuff. The game's tonight, less than an hour or so away here. So I mean, I went probably longer than I thought I was gonna go here, but yeah. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get ourselves into I'm gonna get ourselves into some good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So may if you bet out there, may your bets win tonight here. If you're watching the games, may you enjoy these great games. May they be awesome games. And we'll be back tomorrow with another podcast to tell you guys about tomorrow's games, headlines, news, whatever. But this has been Kenny Manning, aka Funky Freshman, in the building on the 1s and 2s and 3s. I said usually I do have music, but I've been copyrighted, striked many times because the music that I've chosen to play or whatever, it's been kind of one of those. Most people, they're frowning upon that here. They frown upon my me playing music because I don't have the legal rights to play that. But we're gonna do it anyways here. I'm one of the people that say fuck it. All right, put that right there. Probably gonna give me copyright strike, but oh well, fuck it. So, on our way out here, we're gonna smoke the toke here, as I normally always do. That's why my streams are for those that are adult and mature audiences only. Not that I don't like kids, and not that I don't talk to kids on a regular basis or associate myself around it. It's just when I smoke marijuana, that is my choice. I'm not pushing it upon nobody. I want this to be clear. I don't agree with any underage smoking, drinking, or any type of under anything minors might do. I do not support. I do not co-sign. I smoke my weed in my own house, to where I don't have to worry about anybody telling me that I'm wrong or whatever. I live in a state that is legal to smoke, recreational and medical. I don't smoke because I want to be a stoner and be a fucking idiot. I smoke because it's helped me with my PTSD, a lot of my anger management issues. It tends to. I don't, I drink a little bit, but I'm not an alcoholic. I don't like pills. I don't like heroin. I don't like any of those drugs or dope. Just because I smoke weed doesn't make me an incompetent person or doesn't make me a drug addict. You know, I praise God. Hopefully, I'm praying to the right God. I mean, I don't know. I'm starting to figure out maybe God ain't with many of us. Maybe we just figuratively putting Him there in our lives or this or that. That's another conversation and another topic for another days. But yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do something different here. I want to do something different here. I was gonna play some songs that I liked here, but we're gonna do we're going to we're gonna do we're gonna bust some freestyles. Fuck that shit. We're gonna bust some freestyles because maybe I won't get busted for freestyle. Man, if I get banned for playing. Oh, you played this person. You played that. Oh, you played that music. You fucking. All right, we're gonna send y'all out with a freestyle, a smoke and a freestyle from Funky Fresh. Definitely, definitely appreciate everybody, and yeah, just hope for peace and harmony, and hopefully people can understand. Don't be manipulated. Don't let people tell you the truth from the lies because people will do that to you, no matter if they love you or don't. We're gonna take this toke and then we're gonna get into the freestyle here. Yep. Huh? Are we ready for the Monday? Manic Monday panicking cause I'm a mannequin and Anakin Skywalker highlight Jedi Walkers Skywalker OG in my fucking veins. Understand? Am I supposed to maintain what's on my brain? It's a solid contrary controversy. Understand? I'm just being somebody. Am I nerdy? Am I weasel? Am I wormy? Am I told to be the worm? You're the bird? Chirping like gelato. They don't give a damn because they just run around here with their bullshit act type of mantra because they want to win the lottery pick like the ping pong, but they trying to beat on their chest like they was King Kong. You're dying with Godzilla, but you know lizard reptilian because they're telling me, man, are you believing all this ridiculous ridicules they talk about? Man, better be on your P's and Q's because they rushing percussion straight up in your brain function. They don't give a damn, man. What's your function this sideshow? Figure race, ghost riding whips, talk about your tricks. Now in the lowest, I did fairy faucets, man. Running like the water. Aqua, talk about Aquafada, Aquafina, talk about you living life every day like it's my last. I don't care, cause it's another blast from the past. Sitting back with bad company, it's like being bad news to the world like you was calamities. Huh? I guess these people won't hear my flow. They just want to say, man, you better stop it, bro, because you trying to bite off of African American Afro dialects they don't understand. They're not wearing dashikis. because they listen to Dr. Seuss and all the rest of these Faucis and Gucci Wombetons because they wave a magic wand talking like they Dom, but they ain't pimping. They just slipping, they just tripping, but they skimping. Stripping scampies, but they do not fry it on the Barbie. I don't give a shit, no Ken. I don't need your fucking Barbies. Bitches fake as fuck. Talking shit like all these guys telling me lies every day. I don't care because I am winded. Hurt upon my bending knees on hands and knees, I'm begging for this life. It says catastrophes. I guess it's my fault that I ain't going nowhere. My teeth are fucked in disgrace and rotten to the core. I don't give a fuck. You want the horrorcore? You about to get it right in front of your family and watch them like a Sodom and Gomorrah. They don't understand what's in store for them. They is dying. They is trying to oppress, but they is pressing down like a foot upon your throat. You cannot breathe. And now these people telling me that I got to fucking freeze. Please come at me with bullshit. I'm a head rush straight to your face with adrenaline to pump into your heart and soul is not there. You sold it to highest bidder. Now they playing with their Twitter fingers. Get it? They playing you with their Twitter fingers. But they rather eat you up like some Burger King chicken fries and tell you the bullshit and tell you to sit back and get back in line. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. Come on, let's run this in. Run into the second one. Let's get it. Let's run the second one back. Let's run it in. Let's run it in. Yeah, yeah. They told me to tap in. They told me I couldn't watch them. They can't join them and believe them. They talk about they bleed me from the jug. I talk about shit now. They acting like sugar because they dangling, shaking you down for the shake up. I don't give a shit. You motherfuckers better wake up real quick because they shoot you and they hang you like dog Vicky. Talk about the shit he bucky body so secret. Top secret, evangelize. They don't give a shit because they don't open up the eyes. Evangelistic sadistics playing with these poteristic product pentagrams. Talk about shit. Now they're running for them Uncle Sam's club. They don't want love. They're getting smacked upside the head and acting like I'm supposed to be part of their club. I don't think so. Yeah, Miss Flanker. I don't give a shit what the hell they trying to think her. Oh, problemo. Talk about the limousine. They don't give a shit because they shine you up with the gleam of the glitz. They don't give a fuck about your shit. They shit on you like the commode. They don't give a shit because they don't want to hear you, bro. They shut the door in the class. They don't give a shit. They got you in the grass like the Venus fly trap. Yeah, you trapped because you selling dope, boy. Because you not a dope, boy. You a dummy dying like corona, like a virus. And you end up like Miley in the tyrants of the Cyrus. Yeah. Did you not hear that from the back of the days? Talking about blowing up the shit. Man's a castaway. Yeah, that's all the way you want to tap in, but you motherfuckers only want the satisfaction. All you attracted to is addiction and affliction, and wonder why you're dying slow. Nobody cares about you. You fake as rhinestones. You more like cubic zirconium. Talk about shit like you dying slow, man. Slow pace, slow race, death for sauna. I don't give a shit because you won't even raise your hand. Won't even tell the truth and lies and the persecute and wonder why you sitting there looking pretty and you cute while you dying in symposia, superiums and talk about your life society man like gymnastics. What you thinking your score is going to be? Your score, you're metaphorically dying, sliding implied. Oh, multiplicity. Oh, man, is he saying these words? He's going crazy. He's going too fast. Maybe I'm going too fast because you motherfuckers never last. You never heard a word. You never want to listen in the first place. So why the fuck should I teach you anything anyway? Because you motherfuckers never tapped in anyway. Whoo! I should have told you nothing because you motherfuckers never tapped in anyway. Whoo! And on that note, baby, we're going to end it right there. Thank you and God bless.